Hey everyone, it's Tuesday, June 1st, and we're here for another Talk to Me Tuesday. This is Jennifer. I have question number 2 on the table today, which is reconstructed t-shirts. I'm really looking forward to this one because reconstructed t-shirts are something that I have done my entire life as a crafter. I used to do all kinds of t-shirt reconstruction in high school, though we didn't actually call it that then. I think t-shirt reconstruction is sort of a 2000s term. And when I talk about reconstruction, what I mean is I cut the shirt apart and put it back together slightly differently. There are some really great resources for reconstructing. Generation T is a really good book for reconstructing. A lot of the t-shirts are really cute and great for, you know, teenagers and young 20s. I really like more practical shirts. There's a lot of fun stuff in here if you have kids. I did a lot of the things in here with my kids and they helped and they did their own sewing. There's a lot of good practical information about hand sewing t-shirt fabric. And if you're just starting and you can get your hands on this, then definitely check it out. Look at the library or look at your bookstore and check this out because it does have great information for reconstructing t-shirts. My favorite recon is something I came up with myself, and this is not in this book, which like I said is the she shirt. What I do is I take a regular t-shirt, like a men's t-shirt, I remove the sleeves, and I resize it to fit like a girl's t-shirt. These are all t-shirts that I have reconstructed from a larger t-shirt into a she shirt. This was a gift from my friend Katie, and it was, I think, a large or an extra large. And you can see that I brought the sleeves up. The sleeves are shorter, and the sides I brought in. This shirt was made by my sister. This is also a she shirt reconstruction. This one was a gift from Shay, and this is the actual shirt in the she shirt tutorial. So you can go and look and see this shirt in the tutorial. And this was a shirt that I bought from my Zazzle store. This is a design you can buy on my Zazzle store, and I bought it for myself, and it got here and it was huge. And it was supposed to be a medium, and it wasn't, and I thought, okay, either send it back or I just reconstructed it. So I just reconstructed it, and I actually wore this to the Maker Faire a couple years ago here in Austin. This was a woman's shirt, but it was a long sleeve, either extra or double extra large, and I resized it to fit me. This one was a gift from HB5 Freak, and I also resized this so it would fit me the way I like my shirts to fit me. So those are all she shirts. There will be a link under my feet to go to that tutorial. You can reconstruct a t-shirt and you don't need to have a sewing machine. A sewing machine definitely helps. It goes faster if you have a sewing machine. And if you do reconstruct a t-shirt on your sewing machine, make sure you buy needles that are specifically for jersey or knit material because they will sew better. You'll get a better end result when you're working on your t-shirt. If you don't use a jersey needle, what you're going to do is you're going to end up punching holes in your fabric. But if you use a jersey needle, they're also called ballpoint needles. They actually push through the fabric instead of punching a hole. I know that sounds very similar, but the ballpoint will separate the fibers and go through that way instead of poking a hole in your actual material. You can hand stitch. Like I said, you can hand stitch. If you hand stitch, just take your time. I recommend using a double thread so that you have 2 threads instead of 1 as you're stitching. And if you're hand stitching, tie a knot, a very secure knot, about every 5 or 6 inches. So if you do blow a seam, you don't blow an entire seam. You just have a little hole that you can go back and fix. There are lots of other ways to reconstruct t-shirts, and if you really want to have fun with it, grab some old t-shirts you're never going to wear again, you don't like anymore, or grab a couple of cheap t-shirts from the thrift store or garage sale or, you know, something like that, and just start cutting them up and playing with them. This is my Weird Sisters shirt, which is actually a much reconstructed t-shirt. It was originally just a gray shirt with Weird Sisters, and I reconstructed it I think 3 times. So this is actually 3 different t-shirts that I stitched together, and I just kept changing it until I got it the way I wanted. So if you wanted to make your shirt bigger instead of smaller, you could slit your shirt up the side, and you can see how I inset this sort of needle shaped piece here to give me more width in my shirt. And I also added on the bottom to make the shirt long. It's a t-shirt where you basically just cut the neck out, cut the sleeves off, and then lace it with ribbon or shoelace or whatever. I don't know if you can read that or not, but this is a honeydew shirt, and I wore this at Lumos Las Vegas to the opening feast in 2006. Another shirt I made for Lumos, And this one I did get the sleeve idea from Generation T. It says Old Enough to Date Sirius Black, which was sort of an ongoing joke. Being an adult fan of Harry Potter, I am indeed old enough to date Sirius Black if I wasn't happily married and he weren't quite deceased. This is similar to this shirt, except that no sleeves. I made these little cap sleeves using the instructions in Generation T, and then I added this little spacer in the side just because I wanted it to be a little more interesting than just white and gray. Another t-shirt that was a long sleeve, same she-shirt tutorial, but then I stenciled on here over some bleach spots. And this one you can see has the stitching for raglan, but I actually cut below that so the stitching is still there, but the sleeves are not long anymore. Here's an older reconstructed t-shirt. This was a men's double extra large. It was my husband's shirt. So this shirt, you can actually see I didn't add sleeves to this. I just cut it off where it dropped below my shoulder and then just sort of made it a little cap sleeve. This one's not really reconstructed so much as deconstructed. I cut the neck on this one and I cut the sleeves off as I had stenciled the Sherlock Holmes image on here, and this shirt was really dark green and you couldn't see it. So what I did was I bunched it up here and I bunched it up here and then I bleached it. This is a shirt that was given to me by Torn Portfolio, Courtney, and I've worn it in Talk to Me Tuesday before. And I think this was a Michaels t-shirt, and they do have really good prices on their t-shirts. But something that I found about their shirts is that the necks on their shirts tend to be really binding. And so what I like to do is I like to cut, let's see if I can get that to focus. I like to cut, I'll just do it on this shirt because you see better. And see where there's like this little line right here where the stitching joins. And what I like to do is I like to cut in that line, and what it does is it leaves your seam, this bottom seam, intact, but it takes off the ribbing, and that gives you a bigger neck on your shirt, and it still lays really smooth as though it's been hemmed. And it's a really easy thing to do. You just use your sharp scissors and just go really slowly and just cut it out. Just cut the whole neck out. Just make sure you leave this part here intact. This was a combination of two different t-shirts, and I took a regular white men's t-shirt and I had a Crafter shirt that I really liked, but it was way too small. So I cut the front off of it. So this is my pirate crochet, and then I liked the cap sleeves, so I actually cut the sleeves off of here, split it up the side, reinserted the sleeve, and then just stitched it all back together. And this is just appliqued right on top. You can see that it's got raw edges right here. This is also a men's t-shirt, and this is also raw edge applique, but I took the raglan sleeves off of the shirt that this came on. I just laid the raglan sleeves on top of the white shirt, and I just literally, that's what I used for my guide when I cut. And then I just sewed it back together. But this was a shirt that I loved, and it was getting really blown out. I was only wearing it for sleeping in, so I decided I wanted to try to make a tank top, and that's what I did with this one. So I cut using a tank top that I had that fit. I cut out the neck, and then I cut off the sleeves. I ended up bringing the sides in and stitching those up a little bit, and then I added a little ruffled bottom. A quick note about what stitch to use on your sewing machine. You can use a long, narrow zigzag stitch. If you have a stretch stitch, use it, because it goes a little slower because it goes back and forth as it feeds your fabric, but it's going to keep you from having this waffly, weird, stretched out side when you stitch your shirt together. As long as you're using your ballpoint needle, you'll be good. It'll stitch really fine. Just take your time until you get the hang of it. And once you get the hang of it, it's easy. If you have a serger, because they're made for stitching knit, and you will find, I think you'll find once you're confident with it, that you will just be sewing up a storm. I do have some show and tell today, but I think it's gonna have to wait because my unedited video is at 17 minutes, so we'll have to see what I can do to edit that down. I may just have to do a photo show and tell for some of my late birthday gifts that I got that were really amazing. And that's going to be it for me. I'm still looking for questions for future Talk to Me Tuesdays. If you'd like to see a she-shirt tutorial or any other kind of tutorial, video tutorial, let me know, and I will film that and get it on YouTube. I will see you guys next week. Bye.